Hello, everyone. If we could get started. I want to start by thanking everyone for coming out today. It's very appreciated. There's some exciting news. It's a long process. You know, as you remember, it started back in March, April timeframe. We went out and sought public input, and it's been a very long process. But with that, I'm going to allow our interim city manager, Carrie Weston, to talk.
Well, thank you, Mario. Good afternoon, everybody. I want to thank everybody for joining us today, for the leadership that's here. Thanks to the police department that's come out and given us a lot of support here today for such an important announcement regarding the leadership of the El Paso Police Department. As Deputy City Manager Mario D'Agostino just said, this has been an important, long, and extensive process, and it should be. It should be for such an important decision that's so impactful for our community. It started back in May of this year as we opened up the national search for our next chief of police. Before we actually get into the announcement, I do want to say a couple of things. Public safety is such an important priority for our community. As for over 2 decades, we should be very proud that our police department's kept us safe. It's kept us in the top 2 to 3 of the safest large cities in the entire country. A very impressive feat, and certainly it takes a whole village. It takes all the leadership of all of our officers that are out there doing great things each and every day to keep El Paso safe. And it absolutely impacts and affects everybody's quality of life. I don't think there's any question about it. I said this earlier when we were at the public reception, and it bears repeating again, that policing is not the same in every community. Every community is different. Every community has certain needs. The culture of our community is different than the culture of other communities. And along with that goes to different expectations that every citizen has, and rightfully so, in terms of what policing means in our community. So for those reasons, we started this process by inviting a large cross-section of our community to help us identify the key characteristics and attributes that the community is seeking in our next police chief. And what we learned in that entire process is that our community wants a police chief who understands El Paso's unique culture, who is collaborative, communicative, transparent, and approachable, and one who will hold the department accountable. And maintain a high standard of leadership and expectations for all of our officers. In my mind, Police Chief Peter Pasillas embodies all these characteristics. And it's why, after very careful consideration, I've chosen him as the permanent Chief of Police for the city of El Paso. Chief Pasillas is a dedicated law enforcement officer with an exceptional track record, a deep understanding of our community, and a commitment to our city's safety. And I think what's also important is Chief Pasillas is no stranger to this community. He's been born and raised right here in El Paso. He has lived and breathed the values and culture of our city his entire life. His intimate knowledge of our community, its unique challenges, and its vibrant diversity make him the ideal choice to lead our police department going into the future. So I'm confident that Chief Pasillas will continue to build upon the foundation of community engagement and public safety that's made El Paso one of the safest cities in the nation. So again, please join me in welcoming Chief Pasillas as our permanent Chief of Police. With his leadership, I'm confident that the El Paso Police Department will continue to serve our community with honor, integrity, and a commitment to the principles that make our community great. Thank you. I'd like to turn it over to our Mayor Oscar Leeser for some comments. Thank you,
Mayor. Well, I guess it's no secret who the police chief is. But no, I want to congratulate you, Chief, and Dolores. Congratulations. You know, it's when you serve your community, it's not just you, it's your family. And that's something that's really important. And as you can see, Chief Pasillas' wife is here, you know, as a team. So I want to congratulate. And then chiefs behind us, congratulations to all of you. Chief Sadu, thank you very much. it's important. We had 25 really final applicants that we had the opportunity to look at, and just like Colonel Weston was talking about, you know, as an elected official, our number one priority has always been public safety. And public safety, whether we're talking about the asylum seekers, which is something that we see every day within our community, it's something that we continue to deal with, but it's also continuing to make sure that our communities stay safe and make sure that we have integrity within the police department and all departments within our cities. So it was something that you can't take lightly. It's probably, I know, one of, if not the largest decision that we make as a community. Who will lead the police department, who will continue to protect our community, and who will follow somebody that really did a great job, and someone that was a legend within the police department, but someone that really led by example. And I think Chief Pasillas will do the same thing, but also lead with his own, you know, style, his own, you know, what makes him know that this is what's the best thing for our community. So I know that as we went through the process, it was probably one of the hardest processes that we've gone through, because we had a lot of qualified people that applied for the job, but also understanding that how do we continue to make sure that we have 254 communities within the state of Texas, and every one of them really is different. We talked about the curfew, and you know, I had an opportunity to talk to Chief Pasillas and what it meant to our community and how he was going to be able to police or not police. So it's something that every community is different, but yet we have the same needs, and that's somebody to lead the men and women of blue, the men and women of our police department, and make sure that our community is safe. I talk about this, and I'll talk about it one more time. When they go to bed every night and they get up every morning, they prepare for the unknown. And nobody knows what really the unknown would be, whether it's August 3rd, where it's the asylum seekers, where it's, you know, the Chula Vista shooting that we really did know and we took care of it and everyone knew who the lead agency was. They prepare every day for the unknown. So I want to thank all of you all for, you know, from as part of the city, because it's so important that what you all do every day and day out, and you couldn't do it, and we know that, without you all and the over 1,000 men and women in blue. That makes a big difference in our community, that we all work together and we speak with one voice and understand that our number one priority is you, the people of El Paso. So, Chief, congratulations. I know that it was a tough decision, but you showed what we need to lead our community. You showed what we know will keep El Paso safe. And I may only have a year left, but I got a feeling you're going to be around for a long time with your leadership skills. So I thank you, and thank you all for being here. And may God bless El Paso and the rest of our country. Thank you. May God bless you all.
Thank you, Mayor. Now I'd like to ask our Police Association President, Patrick Natividad, come and say a few words.
Thank you all for being here. Chief, first and foremost, congratulations. I've worked under you for many years, and I have the fullest confidence that your leadership is going to continue the finest traditions that our El Paso Police Department men and women have shown, not only here in our community, but all across the country. We get nothing but the highest praise for our officers. We definitely have a lot of work to do. I think the partnership that we have, your entire command staff, the entire association, I think this is a good day for El Paso. I think the communication and the confidence that we all have will strive and continue to move us forward. So with that, congratulations, Chief.
And with that, our Police Chief, Pete Pasillas.
Mayor Leeser, Colonel Weston, Chief DeAgostino, Senior Deputy City Manager Tracy Jerome. Thank you very much for this honor. It's truly humbling to be selected to work for the finest police department in the United States. We have over 1,100 officers and over close to 370 civilian staff that come to work every single day with one goal in mind: to protect the citizens of El Paso, those that live, work, and play and visit this community. To the executive staff, the command staff, thank you very much. It's been hard, we all know it, since the passing of Chief Allen, but we stayed together, we worked together. The officers out there in the field every day have gone out there and have completed their duty with honor and respect. To the community of El Paso, it's a very diverse community. And what I've seen in my career is a lot of times what happens is we have a lot in any human endeavor where we're all talking at each other. What we need to start doing is working together and listening to each other. We need to start listening and coming up with solutions to very complex problems. Our community is diverse, but El Paso sits in a very unique opportunity where we're at right now to set the example for the rest of the nation on how we do things as a community. We proved it on August 3rd. We proved it during the pandemic, and we're proving it right now through the migrant issues that we're seeing right now. We come together as a community. To the officers of the El Paso Police Department and the civilian staff, I look forward to this privilege to humbly lead this organization. We will work together to solve the problems that we have within the organization so that we can serve the community. To Sergeant Natividad, Sergeant Vela, look very forward to working with you all in the union. We have a unique situation here in El Paso with the police department and our association. We come together, we work through problems, we work through issues so that we don't have to be adversarial with each other on the backside like so many other places across this country. And that's truly the leadership of the police association. I appreciate you all. Thank you very much. To the family members of police officers, thank you very much for allowing your officer to go out in the field every single day. Nobody knows what you all go through every day watching your officer walk out that door. And I know it's easier said than done, but don't worry about your officer. They're trained very well. When you're in those moments of loneliness or darkness, wondering what your officer is doing out there in the field, pray. Pray for them and pray for their fellow officers that are out there trying to do their duty to the best of their ability. And to the city of El Paso as a whole, I look forward to working with you in the future so that we can make this the best city to live and work in. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief. And I just want to say one last thing that, people say you have large shoes to fill. I disagree with. You've already filled them, and you filled them well. Congratulations. Chief.
So I want to thank everyone again for coming out. We're going to open it up to a few questions, so if anyone has questions.
Chief Pasillas, you brought up training in your statements. That training has been called into question by a federal judge and even some members of this community. Are you going to be addressing any of those concerns as the police chief?
So the El Paso Police Department, we have been innovative through our training through several programs. The Texas Commission on Law Enforcement has adopted several of our lesson plans and now mandatory training across the state of Texas for all police departments. So our mental health training, we are working to get all our officers trained up to the 320 hours that our CIT officers currently hold. So we continually to look at our training, look what's going on out there nationwide and locally to get better every day.
You guys hear me? Okay. Prepare you even more than before to take on this position. Can you talk about maybe the challenges you faced during that time since Chief Allen's passing?
So it is a lot different having to sit in the chair and deal with the whole organization and the decisions that you ultimately have to make as the interim chief. But I had a tremendous support staff that helped me with the assistant chiefs, the executive assistant chiefs, the command, and especially the rank and file of the department. So it gave me a taste of what was coming.
Thank you. Chief, in your time as interim, there have been at least one major controversy, and I was wondering, do you feel that instance helped prepare you better now that you're going into permanent police chief?
No, since 38 years ago, when Chief Rodriguez was my chief as a young officer, and the tradition of the El Paso Police Department has always been that if there are infractions, they will be addressed immediately through an investigation, thorough investigation. So it's been the tradition of the police department that when there are things that happen, we deal with them.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
My question is, how do you distinguish yourself moving forward as a leader? There were some issues with the prior leadership in the department. So how do you plan to address issues that are surfacing now that have been ongoing, and how do you make those changes moving forward?
So I'm not sure what issues you're referring to, but as I was commenting earlier, is we all need to sit down and listen to each other's whatever issues that somebody might have. All our commands have for years have had a citizens advisory board so that the public can come in and let us know what's going on in their particular areas. But I'm looking to working with the public to solve any of the complex problems that we might have in the community.
Jennifer, and then we'll go to Aaron.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Police Chief, how are you going to work to recruit some more officers to combat the current police shortage?
So this is a nationwide issue within law enforcement, but it's also in the workforce as a whole. Once again, I have to give credit to the staff that I have. The city of El Paso has also invested a lot with the new contract that the union worked out with city leadership, the mayor and city council worked to ratify that contract. Best contract I've seen in 38 years, and that has helped us. For the January class, we were already talking, we're in the hundreds as far as people applying. We're well over 1,100 now, 1,500. We're over 1,500 applicants, so we're already starting to see the interest. And I encourage anybody who wants to selflessly serve their community to apply for the El Paso Police Department.
Aaron, and then Carrie.
Are there any departmental changes being made to assist any officers that are experiencing sexual harassment, or are there any follow-ups as well to some of the arrests that have been made in the last couple of months?
So the city has a very strict no tolerance policy, and we follow that policy also. So we adhere to that. One of the things that we negotiated into the union contract is that not only internal affairs can investigate, but also city HR can be a third-party investigator within the El Paso Police Department. As to the ongoing, the case that you're talking about, it's still an ongoing investigation that I will not comment on.
Carrie?
Thank you. As a longtime El Paso Police Department officer, what are the trends, what are the changes that you've seen over your career, and how are you prepared to meet them now that you're police chief?
I guess the biggest one is technology, the computers, technology, and how do we leverage that to help enhance our ability to police in the modern era. The generations that are coming in, they're so used to the devices in their hands. We already have a pilot program that's already working down in Mission Valley. The body camera systems that the city's been able to get us. Just a lot of different technologies, drones. So that's probably been the biggest thing. And then the level of education that the officers are coming in.
Anita? Do you have a 12-month plan already in place? And if so, what are some of those priorities that you think need to be focused on?
So the first priority was the question that came over here off to my left was recruitment and retention. That's the first priority for the police department. They have to keep on getting people to become police officers. The other one we just spoke to is the technology. How do we start using technology to help leverage and be a force multiplier for the department? Training is always going to be a big thing in my book. We have a well-trained police officer, well-trained civilian staff. We're going to be able to better serve the community.
Aaron?
Do you have any pledges? Do you have any pledges for transparency, and will you make yourself available for interviews in the future?
Yes. A couple weeks ago, I met with the local news directors with the local affiliates to start opening up dialogues with them.
Jennifer?
This question might be more towards the officials, but the city hired the search firm starting at $27,000. Do you happen to have a final cost for those services?
I don't have those final numbers. We'll put that out.
Carrie?
Also for Police Chief Pacias, what do you see as the most important, not just for the department, but the most important need for El Paso right now?
The most important need for is with the loss of the curfew ordinance that we're able to have, is we've already lost teenage lives to tragedies and the families that are suffering right now. So we as a community need to come together to help protect our youth. So the parents understand that this is dangerous. Parents worry about their kids going to school every day. Are they safe at school? Right now, they are safe at school. What the schools are doing, the police departments at the schools, and we need to get this things fixed with these house parties that people are getting injured. The other thing is traffic fatalities, and then of course the crimes against persons and property crimes. We need to address those issues.
2 more questions. Elida?
This might be for Carrie Weston. Can you talk a little bit about what's been going on over the last 2 weeks in this final decision-making process after the community
Sure.
meet and greet?
Yeah, when we finished this process and after we had the community engagement, I very purposely wanted to build time to reflect on all of my conversations with each of the candidates. We had 4 very, very strong candidates. They wouldn't be in that position. None of those candidates wouldn't be there if they didn't all have strong leadership, if they didn't have a strong resume. So I had to kind of really go internally into the things that I felt were really important in terms of the stability of leadership with the department and the officers, how I felt about the selection in terms of engaging with the community. I think community engagement is vitally important in this position. I think the transparency part of it, being more approachable and listening to the needs. This gets into my comments earlier about no community is the same and how important the culture and the specific needs of the community are. And so it was also me gauging and kind of in that process about who I felt would be the best fit. Not that there was any issues with any of our candidates. They're all very strong, which made the decision even a lot more challenging as I made the decision. But these were all factors that were important to me. The leadership aspect of it, the values and ethics. Someone that I felt that would be in this position, communicate well with others, communicate with you all, because you get the information out to the community as well. It's another arm for that. And so these were really important decisions to make, and I felt that I would be doing this city an injustice by making a very quick decision afterwards. So I don't want to confuse the time frame in between the end of the interviews to now as it being a period of indecision. It certainly wasn't. It was very calculated and planned on my part in terms of the time that I wanted to take to reflect on everything to make the final decision for the community.
Okay.
So they were introduced to organizations to talk things through with them.
They were introduced within our process to have communication with the community, to have communication with our staff, to have communication with some of our local leaders, And so we had the opportunity to get feedback from a lot of different standpoints, to include what we did during the search process as well. Did a lot of things to get a better reflection of each of the candidates, their personality, how they communicated, and what was important to them and what they valued.
Last question, Carrie.
Also for Mr. Weston, how would you respond to some people in the community saying that maybe choosing Pasillas was was kind of going with the status quo? Do you think that there is room for growth here, especially regarding his decisions over the past several weeks to communicate more with the media, his performance as interim police chief?
Well, I think the last part of your question is reflective of the individual he is, and that was absolutely part of my decision-making process, because you see our new permanent police chief who does want to be open to the community. You know, anytime you have anybody who has been in an organization for as long of a time as Greg Allen was, and who I thought did a phenomenal job as our police chief. And I think that the results of what he did throughout his career are really indicative and reflective of the safety of our community. But at this point, that page is turned, and you know, Pete Pasillas is his own man, and he needs the opportunity, which he'll get, to be the face of the police department with his ideals and the things that he feels are important from a leadership standpoint. These were precisely the reasons why I chose them. All very strong candidates. Again, this doesn't take anything away from our candidates that we had here. I mean, I was very confident with the selection, but I think that anybody that goes into the place of someone who's been there for so long, it takes a little time for that culture to reflect his leadership values and principles, but that's coming, and I think we're already seeing some of that now.
Decision today, or his statement today on statute of limitations, which
Thank
is
you
a
all.
very big thing. There's a limited time period. And we did nothing wrong. And if you look at the statements, they show even in 2011, I guess the number was $258 million in cash. Very strong company. I don't believe we really, maybe I wouldn't do a couple of deals or something, but I wouldn't have even needed to go to banks. Banks loved our business. They loved our deals. They weren't defrauded. They lost no money. They made money. They had the finest attorneys.